absolutely giddy to get it. I like the stack stick, the specific gravity test. What's up, everyone? Tiger Stacker here. Today is a very special video, one about a lesson that we all need to learn. As you have seen before in a previous video, my teaching box that I plan to teach my grandchildren with. And I was grateful to show it to all of you. But this isn't about my teaching box exactly. Not really. This is a lesson about being extra careful. As you all know, I do check my medals. I had a friend of mine tell me that was fake. It verified with everything I have. And so did that. And that. And that. And these. And even Merry Christmas. I even checked my tube of Rolos. And they check out. It's very important to check everything that you have, whether you are wealthy or you're not so wealthy. So I want to go over something I've recently acquired. I am not going to tell you where it came from. I'm not going to point fingers. That person knows about it, and that person, I believe, did not know themselves. But I want to share with you something that is really, really nice to look at, but when I got it in my hand, things felt different. In case you don't know, I am a Mason, and this Eye of Horus is representative of Masonic emblem, which I really enjoy. I enjoy my Masonic life, although I don't spend enough time at it. I don't really know about this other than maybe it can be the Eastern Star. The Eastern Star is upside down. It is not a satanic symbol. It is the female group that is attached to the Eastern Star, of which I am a member. They are wonderful, wonderful ladies based upon 5 wonderful female representations out of the Bible. So I see this as a wonderful Masonic emblem, and I was absolutely giddy to get it. And it comes with a COA, labeling it at 1.1027 troy ounces of 999 fine silver, number 1, 627 of 23. So there you have it. Well, as I pick it up and I hold it and I look at it, I get the impression that something's not right. It doesn't feel quite so right. So it felt more like my sterling silver sword, but this one's polished off, and this one didn't feel polished off, but it still felt similar in the fingers. So I went ahead and started testing. The first thing I did was use my Sigma Metalytics, and I tested it as it was labeled as pure. And notice it's off the chart. So I thought, well, let's test the other one. And again, it's off the chart. So that confirmed to me this felt wrong on the fingers. So I hit the measure. Oh, you got to have one of the probes to measure. So it's round. I hit round. And notice it is way outside the green line. So I measured the length of it. And it measures at 39 millimeters. So then I went ahead and tested the weight. And the weight comes out as 1.13 troy ounces, or 352 grams. So at this point, I contacted the person who was very apologetic and was going to go backwards to where that person got it from and so forth and so on. And once again, I am not interested in pointing fingers. I am not interested in who I got it from. It's not my purpose. My purpose is to teach you the importance of verification. So then I decided to go ahead and use the ping test. So I put this in the pocket pinger, and you could do this. I don't like that so much. I like the stack stick. You get a better ping. Now that seems a little weird to the ears, but that's okay because I use this test, which is the coin tester, which you can get on your iPhone. This is my old iPhone. I recently traded in, but it still works. Let me turn this thing on. So you take it and you ping. It says 2 out of 3 is good. It says 2 out of 3 is good. So that reads good for sterling silver. What about pure silver? So I cannot rely on this test because it says 3 out of 3, 2 out of 3 is good. That's the first time the ping test has given me weird answers. So then I decided I was going to use another test. Everyone should have in their possession at least a scale and a container of water. With this test, you use the specific gravity test. So here you can see that the specific gravity of pure silver is between 10.49 to 10.50. Sterling silver is between 10.1 to 10.4. The dry weight is 1.13 ounces. The grams is 35.2 grams. And the diameter is 39 millimeters, which should not be an issue with the specific gravity test. Also, you will need for this test very thin thread. And because you're dealing with thin thread, you might have to consider that there's a little bit of a fudge factor when you do this test. So what you'll do is you'll put the weight on there, the glass and the water. In this case, I used water out of my Berkey because it takes out a lot of the impurities of water. And I usually like to immerse my thread in the water to take away some of the erroneous capabilities of dry thread going into water. So it's now wet with the water, and then you have to do this test very carefully. It's very tricky because you are working with very fine thread, and you want to be able to pick up your item. And it's a little harder with a round item than it is a bar. But once you get it, you have to go ahead and get it as secure as possible because it's very easy to slip out. Now, tying it directly is sometimes very hard for a round object. So sometimes I use the lasso technique where you make a loop and then you make a lasso and then you go ahead and let the weight of the object tighten the thread around it. Kind of like getting a steer as if you were a cowboy. So we're in grams still, and you zero out the weight of the water and the container. Now it's going to be a little tricky because the items typically do not stay in one spot. You have to take a pretty good estimation of what the displaced weight is. It cannot touch the sides and it cannot touch the bottom. And if you've noticed that this item wants to spin, movement will change the reading of the container in displaced water. Hopefully this will stop spinning. So you put it in the water. I got to put more water in. Bear with me. You zero it out. And here we go with the spinning again. It's not above the water. It's not touching. So I'm reading between 3.5 and 3.6 grams. Change it to troy ounces. Zero it out. The specific gravity test is very, very difficult to do. That's why a lot of people don't do it. And because the coin round keeps spinning, I'm trying to get it a little more accurate. Let's try it now. 0.11. It's staying at 0.11 this time. So we're not going to use 0.12 or 0.13 because 0.11 seems to be the accurate number. And because 3.5 displacement was the most consistent, we're going to use that number. And 3.11 ounces was consistent. So you take and use simple algebra, divide the dry weight by the displaced weight. And algebra rules say when you have the same categorization, in this case grams or ounces, you can cross those out because specific gravity does not have a qualification like weight or fluid ounces or anything like that. And 35.2 divided by 3.5 is 10.06. And 1.13 troy ounces divided by 0.11 troy ounces is 10.27. And as I said, this test, because the weight of the thread, the spinning, maybe some of the impurities that you don't have in distilled water, but the best I got is Berkey water, you are not going to get the exact specific gravity, but that is close enough. And because this test is not exactly scientific in this circumstance, but I did say there was a fudge factor because of the thread. Maybe the water is not completely pure as, say, distilled water. It's the best I got, which is Berkey water. You won't get the exact value of sterling silver, but 10.6 to 10.27 is within the value. So this, my friends, is sterling silver, despite what is stamped on the side, where it says 1.1 troy ounces, 999 fine silver. So this, my friends, is what I believe is sterling silver, despite what the certificate of authenticity says, and despite what is stamped on the side, where it says 1.1 troy ounces, 999 fine silver, and number 1. This could be a number 1. I think that's the only correct thing stamped on this item. So be careful, my friends. Even human beings who are not trying to take advantage can sometimes make mistakes. I believe the person who made this item has a good possibility that they thought that they were dealing with fine silver. Maybe they did know. Maybe they didn't. It's not for me to tell. But I will tell you that 1.13 troy ounces times 92.5% equals 1.04 troy ounces. So this, in my opinion, is 1 ounce troy silver. It's a lovely piece. Now I have to decide, do I return it or do I add it to my teaching box? Please put your comments in the chat. I would love to hear what your opinions are. See you all in the next one. Tiger Stacker out.